chances are if you do all of these one by one and you really go through it systematically, you really put intention behind it, chances are your next game you're going to bounce back even stronger than you usually do. What's going on, guys? It's Braden from Advanced Hockey Advising here, and today we'll be talking about how to bounce back from a bad hockey game. We've all been there, right? Having a really good game, things are going well, good start to the season, you're the man, everything's going great, and then next thing you know, things just come crashing down. You have a game where bounces just aren't going your way, you're getting in your own head, you're getting frustrated, you end the game, and it's deeply, deeply uncomfortable and unsatisfying, right? We've all been there. I've definitely been there a ton. It's not fun when it happens. Things just don't seem like they're going right. But that being said, when this does happen, it's crucially important that you find a way to bounce back for the next game, because if you don't, it may lead to a rut, right? If you can't get out of that negative headspace, if you can't find a way to get in the open areas to get those bounces, for the next game. So really, really important to be able to bounce back and to have the tools necessary to do so. So that being said, that's the whole point of this video here, is for me to give you guys a general framework as to steps to follow to get yourself out of that negative headspace, out of that mentality, to put yourself in the right frame of mind, if you will, to get yourself out of that bad game that you played for the second game where you come back strong. So that's the whole point of the video here. Before we dive into this general framework and these steps, just a quick reminder, as always, to absolutely destroy that like button if you haven't already. And if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. All right, let's just dive right in right now. All right, so step number one here, and this is super important not to miss, is to stay down and feel the pain for a bit, and don't just artificially pump yourself. A lot of people talk about this artificial pump or just boosting your ego, and getting through it and not thinking about it. I don't think that's a good way to go about it. I think staying down for a bit, feeling the pain, feeling the uncomfortable sensations that are coming from it, I think that's super, super important, because you need to go through that period of grief, if you will, before you start really reflecting back and really being rational, right? So I think it's super, super important to do this. It's too easy to just kind of dismiss it, put it to the side, and then just keep pushing forward. I think if you do that, then it just subconsciously lurks in the background, and I don't think it's the right play. So staying down, feeling it a little bit, use whatever coping mechanism that works best for you. So if it's, crying alone in your room, which I've definitely done before, if it's going for a hard workout, sometimes you're just so pissed off, full of energy, you go for a hard workout, you sweat it out, you feel way better, and then, you just feel better after, and you can start thinking about it, right? So whatever coping mechanism you have, whether it's workout, crying, talking to someone about it that you trust, anything like that, that really goes a long way, and you're able to kind of process the feelings, go through it, and then after that, once you're done that, then you move on to step two here. All right, and step number two here is to reflect, okay? And a huge important notice that I want to tell you guys right now, so you don't mistake the two, is that there's a huge difference between reflecting and rumination. Reflecting is when you look back and you analyze things rationally, right? And we'll get to that in a sec, how you do that. Ruminating is when you're looking back, you're beating yourself up for all the mistakes, you're even distorting your thoughts in a way that, oh my God, I'm so terrible, that was terrible, when in fact it wasn't even that bad of a play, It's when you're amplifying everything in a negative light, okay? That's really, really toxic. It does not serve you, it does not help you, and it's really important not to do that, okay? You want to objectively reflect to be able to learn. And the thing here, why step one is so important, is because if you skip step one, your chances of ruminating are much higher than if you go through step one the right way, okay? So really important, do step one, move on to step two, and really keep in mind not to ruminate and to look at things objectively. So when you're reflecting, the things you're looking at, okay, you can either do it in your head, think about the game, things that happened, the mistakes that you made, the things you did well as well. Like when you're like, hey, this went well, I gotta keep doing this. The things that didn't go so well, think about why. Think about, what did I do there? What could I have done differently? Why did I make this play? Was I panicking? Was it legit because you didn't have that much time to think and it's something you just got to practice a little bit more? Was it really a skill problem? It's all these things that you think about. You can also watch video too. So it's one thing to reflect and to do it in your mind, but watching video is a great way to do it, right? You're going to analyze through it, see things that you might not remember, and say, oh, okay, like I made this play, could have made that instead, something to keep in mind for the future. You guys could probably tell now the huge difference between reflecting and ruminating, right? Reflecting is when you're looking at it objectively with the intent to learn and to get better for the next game, whereas ruminating is where you're beating yourself up and something that just clearly doesn't serve you. So stick on the reflecting side. Basically, in the reflecting mode here, the two main things that you want to focus on, again, to kind of summarize this, is one, is it a mindset or a skill problem when you're looking at things? And two, is there big gaps in my game that I can identify here that I really need to work on to improve, okay? So two things to really keep in mind. And then last bonus tip that I want to talk about, if you're reflecting, if you're looking at the video, you're going back and you really can't clearly identify what's going on, don't be afraid to reach out at this point. You've gone through step one, you've gone through the emotionality of it. Reach out to your coach, to your advisor, to your parents, to some friends. Your teammates will be honest with you too. Anybody that you trust, talk to them about it and see what constructive feedback that they have to give you, and then take that feedback, analyze the degree of worthiness of it. Usually it's typically pretty good if it's people you trust, and then work on that. So that's the stuff that you do when you're reflecting and not ruminating in step two. And now moving on to step three, which is really simple, and that is to take action. Now the reason why I'm actually highlighting this is that some people reflect, or they ruminate, even worse, but if they reflect, some people just don't take action after. They're like, okay, like this, whatever, but they don't intentionally take action on the things they need to work on. Whatever gap that you have in your game, whether it's skill, mindset, whatever you notice, you have to take action and improve, right? You have to form a plan as to how you're going to be better and the things you need to work on in practice, right? The things that you need to work on, like maybe before practice, 10 minutes before you show up, you work on that specific thing. After practice, if it's your shot, if you keep missing the net, work on really picking the corners and not missing the net. So really important that you take action and you work on these things. If it's a mindset problem, it's a little bit tougher, right? Because mindset's more meta, but in a way, it's really important to be intentional about it. So in practice, when you show up, really make sure that you're in the zone, that your mindset's tuned in, that you're practicing the strategies that we've talked about in countless other videos. Really important to do that if it's a mindset issue. So overall, taking action, step three, super important after you identify the core issues. And now last but not least, moving on to step number 4 here, and that is to show up to the next game extremely prepared, way more prepared than you typically do. That's just to put you in the right headspace. So what do I mean by extra prepared? Have a great night's sleep the night before. Really prioritize that. The meals leading up to the game, not only the pregame meal, but the meals in the morning, the meal the night before, really make sure that that's optimized. Going for a walk or moving your body in the morning of the game, okay? If you have a pregame skate, great. If not, go for a walk, maybe a small jog, obviously nothing to impair your performance, but maybe a couple sprints, something like that, something to get your body moving throughout the day. Super important. When you show up to the rink, make sure that you have your favorite pregame playlist on. Really make sure you show up to the rink early, get all the things done that you need to get done so you're in the right zone, and really make sure that you focus on being in the zone. Whatever that can get you there, get yourself extra in the zone that game so you can really go ahead and deliver and not leave things up to chance. Chances are, if you do this, after, we've talked all these steps here, chances are if you do all of these one by one and you really go through it systematically, you really put intention behind it, chances are your next game you're going to bounce back even stronger than you usually do. So hopefully you guys follow these steps, you got some value out of it, but your next game you bounce back and you're going to be awesome. Just in case you guys forgot, just a quick reminder as to what the steps are. So number 1, feel the pain, don't move immediately past it. Number 2, reflect, make sure not to ruminate. Number 3, take action. And then number 4, show up to the next game extremely prepared. All right guys, that wraps up the video here. Hopefully you got some value out of it. Hopefully you guys bounce back from your next game hard and really deliver and continue to have a great season here. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, and if you haven't already, again, a quick reminder to absolutely destroy that like button. It goes a really long way. And if you're new here and if you like these kind of videos, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. If you had any questions, anything whatsoever that you want to talk to us about, feel free to drop a comment down below or send us a private email at info@ahadvising.com and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right guys, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on that next one.